So I'd like to welcome you to Pietro's podcast. I'm really excited today to have Tracy Benson, CEO and founder of Obsesh, an early stage global content and community platform for outdoor fanatics and pro influencers to connect. I've known Tracy for a number of years, originally at a client called Seek, where Tracy was CMO, which amongst other things created heat-seeking cameras. So very cool James Bond stuff. So Tracy, welcome to the podcast. Great to have you here.
Thanks, Pietro. It's so good to be back with you overseas during this time of COVID, unfortunately, but it gives us the opportunity to say hello. Thanks for having me.
Well, yeah, no problem. I only wish we were back in that cafe having one of those amazing coffees. Was it a vegan cafe or something? I think it was.
Sounds like me. Sounds like me.
Yeah. Broadening my horizons. So Tracy, look, I know you're really busy, but I was hoping that maybe you could tell some of the viewers here a bit about yourself and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, that's a great question. Overall, my career has really been centered around this love of solving consumer pain points, and so I've spent what I would say is two really interesting digital eras developing consumer-led platforms, consumer products, where you and I, have spent some time together in the consumer electronics space and building global teams and brands around the world. And as a former CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, Obsesh is giving me an opportunity to put my love and energy of outdoor sports, my lifelong pursuit of being an athlete at a younger stage, much more aggressively than now, just trying to manage the mountain bike trails one rock at a time. And so I've found an opportunity here where I think there's a giant problem in the market that needs to be solved. And so my career has prepared me for this. I know many of the problems firsthand and been a part of building great iconic lifestyle brands such as Home Depot in the early day, Best Buy in the consumer tech space, Beats by Dre in the headphone space, and helping GoPro in the action sports space. So it's been an interesting career, but I love what I do. I'm passionate about it, and somebody's got to be that consumer's champion.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I know how good you are as a marketeer, but I remember you telling me a little bit about the story about how GoPro kind of got to where they are today. And if I remember rightly, it wasn't it a sort of an opportunity that that was dropped in their lap that kind of got them into that sort of retail space?
Yeah, it's interesting because every time somebody is attempting to build a product, go to market with a product, launch and expand into new markets, you need a champion on your side that can make all the difference. You need those great partnerships. And when GoPro was very early in its career, Nick had spent quite a few years trying to build a GoPro product. And I can remember him, at the time I was the head of digital for Best Buy in the US. And he came in, he had this really cool camera, and he was a amazing guy. Surfing poured out of him. He walks into Minnesota, which is a very sort of homogenous, wonderful, great city. He walks in his flip-flops and he's like, yo, I got the coolest camera that can show you on a wave. And it's like, okay, we're selling tons of cameras. We have Nikon, we have Panasonic, we have Sony, we have, Canon. We've got a crowded system. And at the time, a lot of your viewers might not know this, but at the time there was a young startup called Flip. I still have quite a few in my closet, but Flip was like the camera. It was a small format. You can post, you can see other people doing things. It fit nicely in your pocket. And they were like on a trajectory. I mean, they had just taken a huge investment from a company, and we were gonna put them everywhere because, you know, the shoppers were like, oh my gosh, they were flipping out.
The Flip as well had a little, you pressed the button and the little USB popped out and you could just stick it straight in your
Yes,
computer as well,
yeah,
isn't
it
it?
was
Yeah,
like it was the
awesome.
first rendition of like convenience when it came to a camera. You didn't have this big, remember you had to hold the camera, you got to flip out the screen, you got to look at it, then you got to go take the disc out. There was like a million things that just had evolved with Flip. We were so excited about Flip. And at the time, I had responsibility for the end caps in the Best Buy stores. And here comes this, you know, surfer Nick with his flip flops. Really nice guy. I could relate. The old athlete me was like, oh, I just want to go surf with this guy, even though I can't surf. And, you know, but we had all these, you know, young consumers that love the flip camera. So we put them on all these end caps. We made these beautiful displays, which, you know, is a very big and expensive undertaking. Every square inch of a retail store is monetized, and it's expensive for those companies to get on there. So we've got this great, you know, set that's about to launch in a couple months, and we're at the infamous Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. Back then, it was much smaller. It wasn't the entertainment media hub that it is today. And we have our meetings, and the financial backers of Flip walk in and say, hey, by the way, there's going to be an interesting announcement in a minute. We are shutting Flip down. And as Best Buy, that is that is like a holy cow. What are we going to do? So myself and the merchant, a woman by the name of Deb at the time, you know, we get together and we are like, okay, what does anybody do when you're panicking? You call the person that's hungry and you call the next in line. And so we called GoPro and we said, hey, today's either your best day or your worst day. Congratulations. You're going to win the Best Buy account, and we're going to put you on many end caps because Flip just went out of business. And so it was that partnership.
Sorry to interrupt, to put it into context for like the UK viewers and for European viewers, how many stores was that for Best Buy in America?
Gosh, that was probably, at the time, I think we started with 150, but Best Buy, that's a small slice of the Best Buy, you know, retail portfolio, which is, at the time, was about 1,000 stores. And so, but if you can imagine 150 stores, all of a sudden, you're like, holy cow, I don't have packaging. I don't have a supply chain. I just got a couple stores with my product in the surf, you know, surf shops and skate shops. And that's a big opportunity. And so the partnership was really one of the things that, you know, today as an entrepreneur myself, I understand that value of that partnership. We helped them, you know, understand where and how to manufacture. We helped them with the displays. What they were amazing at was capturing the content. But again, they're a product company selling a camera. And so it was a lot of fun, and it was great to be their strategic champion and partner through Best Buy, because in those first 3 years, it was really the subculture of the action sports, the skate community, and the skiers and the surfers that could find their product in those small shops. And so all of a sudden, when you go from a handful, a dozen of small shops, one product, to 150, life changes. And so it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun being a part of the GoPro story and helping them as a strategic partner through Best Buy. And I think today, you know, it's always back in those early days. It takes a lot of work, and GoPro and the whole team did, you know, a lot of hard work, but having that champion to give you your first big bet and having champions inside the organization, that's what we're most proud of. And we have no idea if they would succeed, but we were going to do everything possible to help them succeed.
Yeah.
And obviously,
well, I think it was It was definitely a bit of both. I mean, you obviously gave them that opportunity, because I don't think without that opportunity, they wouldn't have suddenly got the mass market coverage that they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
But also, in GoPro's defense, one of their, and bringing it back to marketing, one of their USPs, and I still think they probably do it the best out of anybody, is they have this content, at the point of sale. So you've got these
Yes.
like amazing, ski scenes or surf scenes or whatever, and people kind of, they're buying the product because they're buying into that, that sort of brand and that sort of aspiration of what that content is. And
Yes.
it's, even though they're probably just going to go home and, film their kids falling off a bike, or, still
Yeah.
amazing memories, but they're probably not
Yeah.
going to be surfing down the tube of a wave or down
Yeah.
a gully of a mountain, but
Yes.
still you buy into it. So that combination of the opportunity and what made them so special, just, I suppose it just it's that eureka moment, wasn't it? It was amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely a eureka moment, and I still see that relate today. Content is in large part how the narratives of how you want to live your life, how you identify, your sense of belonging, your sense of aspiration, and your ambitions kind of come to life. And when you see something like, an Anthony Walsh and a big, barrel, the majority of people can never do that, but you want to feel it. And GoPro really made that possible for people. And so for so many years, it was really, to Nick's credit, was less about the product and more about the way it made you feel and experience the output of the product. And I think there's several brands that have done a great job like that, including, the other strategic partnership that I helped with, which was Beats by Dre. People wanted to feel that sense of, at the time, hip hop. They wanted to feel like they were in the know. They were as cool as the tribal cultures around it. And again, the physical product doesn't always make that connection, but it's the way you express that product. And that is truly, the culture of marketing in today's day. And they were early in it, and, kudos to them.
100%. I mean,
it takes a village, as I say.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, those Beats headphones. I mean, they're obviously everywhere, and loads of celebrities wear them. I don't, we have a lot of clients that are in that sort of audio space, or have been in the past. They're not that special, but they've absolutely, like GoPro, they've nailed the marketing. They did it early doors, and
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, obviously it leads us nicely to. So, do you want to tell us a bit about your new company then? So, Obsesh. I mean, I watched it, and I had one of those kind of GoPro aspirational moments when I saw the guys free running through the malls and stuff like that. I mean, it looks amazing, but tell us about it. What's the idea?
Yeah. So Obsesh is, I'm glad you get it. We want to be associated with, when you think of Obsesh, you think of outdoor sports. And so, we're building a modern sports platform connecting what I would say is a young urban outdoor fanatic with pro athletes. We're putting those two together. And so if you think about Twitch for real outdoor sports, you've got some of the background, and my understanding of athletes and GoPro, but we're really going after inventing the next experience platform for a more modern generation. Most of yesterday's platforms, including, Red Bull, including GoPro, they were built for 10 years ago. And so we're reinventing the future of online experiences. And we want to put that at the intersection of what a fan wants, which is great content, great stories that, help them aspire to be and live the life they want. Community, which is putting people together. Today they want to engage online. Online is a big component. It shouldn't be online or offline. This is one life for this younger generation. And so we're intersecting our platform with content, community creators, as you guys call them, influencers, and commerce. And so, Yeah, we're early in our journey. We are in what I would say is Beats year 2. You know, building with the real tribal culture, the real outdoor athletes and fans, and starting at ground zero, which is exciting. But it's a giant market, and it's a market that we know how to win at. And putting the skills and experiences together, we want to make it easy for the pros to monetize, connect with the real fans, and fans, they want to have access to the pros. They want to learn from them. Their ambitions are filled from watching them, engaging with them, and knowing them. And so we're setting out to go build it.
Yeah. So with my marketing commercial head on. So does the platform connect brands and pros, and you know, does the commerce happen on the platform, or do the pros bring their brands with them? How does it work?
Yeah, you know, starting out, we really have to take the problem set for the pro athletes today, especially the younger progressive ones. They don't have a way through today's platforms, which were built for, you know, 15 years ago, they don't have a way to really engage with fans. They don't have a way to control that. So you take YouTube, anybody can broadcast anything. It's really hard as a quality storyteller, quality athlete, to find those fans. They don't control that, and they want to have access to broader fans. They want to get their stories from their skills and experiences out on a bigger canvas across streaming platforms where the consumer is looking for them. And so our first, you know, last year has been spent building the pro community, really recruiting and talking to the right pros and understanding the problems. And so we're going to take those pros. So we have professional surfers. We have guys like Jesse LaFleur, who are the top free runners in the world and parkour athletes. And they've spent years building communities, but they don't have a way to engage with them and expand that. And so for the pro, we're going to help them monetize it, be seen, be heard. We're going to stream their stories everywhere. And for the fan, we want the fan to be able to easily find these great pros. They want a curated experience. So our first product that we came out with in the last 6 months has been streaming entertainment. So we've taken a lot of this great content, we've repackaged it in a way that we can stream it across Roku and Apple and Amazon Fire and all the big US platforms initially. And our goal is to take that around the world. So that was our first product. And today we've got a couple series that run every single week to more than 200 million like potential outdoor fanatics. That's great. The second product that we're coming out with is what we call live classes, where, you know, say, Pietro, you want to learn how to surf, or your kids want to learn how to surf. And we've got this pro athlete, say an Anthony Walsh, or we've got a Jesse LaFleur, and they want to learn from the pro. That pro has so much experience and they have so much insight. They want to be able to do that with the fan. And then our third product that we're going to be coming out with is our mobile app. And COVID has given us the opportunity to really focus on these first two. And then in January, we'll launch our app where you can do all those things in one destination for one subscription fee. And so for brands, we'll grow into the commerce component because we know the fan gets introduced and inspired around the content through the pro. And so we will build in tools and technologies where if you're watching Anthony Walsh surf in maybe a series, and then you're taking a class with him, you can then go buy that surfboard, those board shorts, those, you know, the hydration, the super energy, you know, food and fuel. So we're putting that intersection together. But of course, like anything, we got to start right where we know the audience begins their aspirations, which is through video. So our streaming video products.
So I guess it's a sort of, if I'm an extreme sports or, you know, outdoor sports fan, I
Yeah.
can basically subscribe to this platform, and I've basically got, you know, I know that the quality of the pros and everything's there, that I can indulge myself in those sports and learn them if I want to. So it's kind of like a little, it's almost like a little mini extreme sports TV network that you subscribe to, really.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We want people to have unlimited access to it all. And, you know, for today's younger Gen Z and millennial outdoor sports fans, they're living busy tech lives in a lot of urban pockets like Shoreditch, like Paris, like, you know, Frankfurt, etc. And they don't have time to go through this fragmented, you know, destination, opening up 30 tabs, trying to put it all together. And so I love your reference to, like, you can, you know, indulge through digital abundance on all things outdoors in one destination. And so we've seen for one flat fee, whether you pay monthly or we're going to offer people a free 30-day trial, you can get it all. When you go to Obsesh, you're going to think of all outdoor sports. We're going to curate it for you. Eventually, our pros will also curate. And in the long term, we want, you know, the fans to be able to curate their own content and their own, you know, experience, no different than Spotify has done over the last several years.
Yeah. Do you know, in my head, I was trying to sort of understand, because obviously I watch YouTube a lot. I don't know if you know, but I'm into boxing. You can probably tell. But you know, so I will generally watch quite a lot of boxing late at night. You know, kind of different boxers that I follow and stuff like that. But you do end up watching a lot of stuff you've already watched before, and B, kind of, well, probably the rest of the time you're just kind of filtering, you know, crap all the time.
Yeah.
But I suppose, again,
and you probably spend a lot of time, you probably spend more time filtering to get to the one or two things that you feel like fit you.
Yeah.
And that is a great, I get that question all the time. Like, well, what's different about YouTube? It's like, what's different about the next oatmeal? You know, that is a generic platform, their words, not ours. You can broadcast yourself, but it's not aligned to quality. And so if you could go into YouTube and have a very distinct experience that is just quality boxing with the quality, you know, influencers, with the real voices where you can learn, you can engage together with that boxer, and you could even engage with them, it would be a different story. You can't do that in YouTube. And that is one of the biggest pain points. It was built for a watching generation.
Yeah.
15 years ago.
Yeah, I get that now.
Today's generation doesn't want to just watch. They want to get in there and make it happen. They want to do it.
Yeah.
And we hear that from the pro community all the time. They're very frustrated with YouTube. They're exhausted from YouTube and what they're great at. They've built these careers in their craft, and they don't have a place, a platform today that speaks to their, you know, their individualism, which combined is like 33% of the world loves outdoor sports. There's more than, just in the US alone, there's more than 40 million fanatics. And last year there were over 20 billion views on YouTube. Imagine all the searching that took place that never found anything. We want to give them a home. So we want to make it easy.
Yeah, cool. So what does so like, let's say that, you know, obviously it will take off and everything will do well. What does success look like for you in 3 years' time with the platform? What does it? How do you see it? More products, you know, more sports. I mean, what's the vision?
Yeah, I mean, the vision is we'd love to be the market leader 5 years from now and setting the pace for both the fan and the pro, where the pro feels like they can build a career, they can take their strengths and they can put them to the right fans, and they can monetize that, and they can get credit for that and get closer to their fans. For the fans, you know, a big piece of what we're doing is trying to relieve that stress, get them engaged in their passions, help them grow so they can challenge themselves, live what we say is their best life outside. You know, the fan may not ever become the next professional climber or professional mountain biker, but this younger generation, they want to feel a sense of belonging. They want to connect with people that share their passions. And we want to get them outside because that's where healthy communities thrive. And we have to start with this in this younger generation online in order to get them outside. And so how do we see ourselves in 3 years? We see ourselves as the market leader setting the pace. And when somebody thinks of Obsesh, they think of quality, trust, and a curated experience that inspires people to get outside.
Yeah, amazing. We were chatting obviously before the podcast, but you know, I have this concern, like, you know, selfishly with my own children, but they obviously watch YouTube a lot. They watch a lot of content, but actually what I want them to do is maybe learn from something like Obsesh and actually go outside and do it
And
not spend their, you know, they should just be kind of looking for ideas to go out and have experiences themselves. Yes. And not just watch it through other people's eyes. And if this platform does that, then I'm 100% for it. I think it'd be amazing.
That's you know, I often tell people, you know, what we hear is they want to do it, they don't know how to do it, what good looks like, how to learn it, and they're spending far too much time with too much information. And if we can move them from just watching to doing, to being a part of making it happen, creating their own memories, their own experiences, their own stories outside, together, Pietro, we gotta win. We'll win all, you know, around the globe. And we want people to live a healthy lifestyle. They deserve that. And they deserve a platform that enables them to do that. And to do that, we have to put the voices they want to hear from and make it accessible. We've got to make it online so that they can get outside and offline. And we got to put this one life together. You know, 10 years ago, online was a different place. It was like literally its own place. Today, online is just life. Online and offline is one life, and virtual is in between, and augmented is in between. And I would love the day when your kids, they're, you know, hanging out and they're learning how to surf, even though you're in the countryside, which, by the way, I love where you live. It's a beautiful place, but not a lot of surfing happens right there. But
we couldn't be further from the sea.
Right? Imagine they come on to Obsesh. They have gotten access to this wonderful curated experience. They're engaged with the pro. A pro like Jesse LaFleur or Anthony Walsh as a surfer is teaching them board work and training. And, you know, they've got unlimited access to this. And then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? He's over surfing in Western Kimberly. I'm going to augment myself over to the Western Kimberly and surf next to him virtually. And maybe, just maybe, they'll then grow into the idea of like, hey, Dad, can we go to the Western Kimberly? Because I really want to get out there and try it. I've already surfed it with Anthony, but now I know what to do. And so that's the future of experiences online that feel like life. That's where we're going. That would make me happy.
My son's a big skier already. He's only 11, but he was in the school ski team. So you need to get some skiing up there as well. I suppose that fits in with the, So look, I think that's probably, I had one other question. I wanted to ask you something about COVID-19, but do you know what? I think where you finished there, I think it was a great spot. And I know you're busy, and I know you're probably dying to get outside and get some surfing done.
Yes.
So look, I really appreciate your time, and hopefully we can hook up in the flesh soon, and you know, forget all this last 6 months behind us. So
yes,
thank you very much for your time.
You again. Yeah, thanks for having and making space for Obsesh.
Yeah, and I think it's an awesome product, by the way. I'm looking forward to watching it grow. So amazing.
Cool.
Cool. That was all right.